Alright, what's going on, guys? This is a video I've been meaning to make for a little bit, but I wanted to wait until after Christmas just to confirm something. It is inevitable that we're going to get more of Elden Ring. We recently just had the Coliseum update that I was telling you guys all along was gonna come out before the end of the year, and like the PvP enjoyer that I am, I was super hyped about that. But there is a reality that that update did not satisfy the majority of players. And regardless of how you feel about that, the majority of Elden Ring players are here for the PvE. And we have a dilemma. With the recent announcement of Armored Core 6 coming in 2023, we have a large contingent of From Software fans that are feeling a bit disenfranchised by the recent pattern. The players that are not interested in Elden Ring PvP and are also hesitant to get excited for or try Armored Core, today I want to offer you some hope, because we have confirmation that big things are coming. And I'm going to get you up to speed on this really important news that went under the radar and what you need to be paying attention to going forward. So as we get into that today, if you want to stay up to date on all the latest news and discussion around From Software, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button, because the future of this company is looking extremely bright and you're not going to want to miss anything. But with all that, let's go ahead and get into it. Now, it's been a minute since the Game Awards. Elden Ring got the recognition it definitely deserved, but we had a lot going on. Personally, I was not expecting them to announce the Coliseums before the Game Awards, but rather at the Game Awards. However, we did still get somewhat of a mention of Elden Ring DLC. And between Elden Ring winning Game of the Year and the debacle with the Bill Clinton kid, you may have forgotten about it.
で、このエルデンリングについてもまだやりたいことありますので、その点でも今回の受賞すごく大きな励みになりました。
As for Elden Ring, we still have several more things we want to do. So getting this Goldie Award really encouraged us.
So at the Game Awards, after receiving the Game of the Year award, Miyazaki confirmed that they're working on several more things for Elden Ring. Now, that's not the main thing I wanted to talk about, but it does put into context that there is more of this story that they want to tell. And I mean, realistically, if we're being completely honest, that only means one thing: a real full-scale DLC. Now, yes, the Coliseums were technically DLC, however, we all know what you're hoping for: more of the PvE adventure in a full-scale paid DLC. And it looks like that could be coming pretty soon. Because if you're signed up to the Bandai Namco email list, then you would have received a note that was really interesting. This email reads, "Elden Ring wins Game of the Year. Congratulations to Elden Ring for winning Game of the Year, Best RPG, and Best Art Direction at the Game Awards. It's been an incredible year of gaming, and we thank the Elden Ring community for their love and support of the game thus far. Stay tuned in the days and weeks to come as there is more Elden Ring news that awaits. For those who have yet to experience Elden Ring, there's no better time than now." I had mentioned that email very briefly in one of the last few videos, but I think it's an extremely important piece of news that nobody was really talking about, and there's a lot of context to go along with it. But the obvious standout point of that email was that it said to look out for more Elden Ring news in the days and weeks to come. Now, the obvious problem here is that days and weeks can literally mean anything, which is why I wanted to wait till after Christmas in case they were planning a Christmas announcement, but clearly that didn't happen. So now we can go into a deep dive on this. The only bit of news that we've seen since the Game Awards relating to Elden Ring is that it has gone on sale in time for the holidays. But let me reassure you, that is not what the email was referring to, because in the line directly after that they say now is the best time to hop into the game, which they wouldn't say if their news was that it was going to go on sale a few weeks later. But rather, if we compare this to what Miyazaki said at the Game Awards, clearly this is talking about more in-game content. If it was anybody other than Miyazaki saying that, I wouldn't really be inclined to think that it's a full-scale DLC. However, since it is his creative project, whatever they're working on is likely to have more story implications. But let's put this in context for a little bit. We are obviously coming up on the new year, and with the new year comes a lot of business things. The next quarter for the Japanese fiscal year begins on January 1st, and what that means is that on January 2nd, we're going to get the next investors report for Kadokawa, who is the parent company of From Software. In these reports, we typically get a good outlook on what they're planning to do in the next quarter and how they view their performance in the last. Now, as we all know, Elden Ring contributed a huge deal to Kadokawa's success in 2022. And after we got that first investors report after the game release and had such monumental success, they were already discussing ways to have more paid content for this game. So what we can expect in this report is a reflection on the recent success at the Game Awards, as well as talk about ways of making more money off of the game based on that success, which is almost a 100% guarantee. And there's several business reasons of why this would make sense. Of course, the biggest main reason of why they need to push out a DLC for Elden Ring is what I was explaining in the intro to this video. Those disenfranchised fans who won't be picking up Armored Core. Now personally, I'm super excited to try something that isn't a Souls game from Software. However, even based off the video performance on my channel, I can tell there's a lot of y'all that just aren't interested in Armored Core. And that's something they're gonna have to make clear to the investors. Armored Core simply is not going to capitalize off the success of Elden Ring. Now, I know Miyazaki and From Software only care about making games they're passionate about, and that's almost definitely the reason their games are so good in the first place. But the investors are a different animal. They're gonna want a capitalization, one that's going to supplement the lower sales of Armored Core. But then we gotta think about timing, because the next fiscal year doesn't start until April. The chances that Armored Core gets released in the next fiscal year is almost a certainty. I simply can't see that they would release this in the same fiscal year that Elden Ring has blown way past expectations. But if we follow that logic, then that would mean that DLC would also have to release in that fiscal year. And so my theory on when I think Armored Core is going to release will be later in the year, since we didn't get a release date with this trailer, only the year 2023. And so if we build off that, April sounds like a good time for the paid Elden Ring DLC to release. But I'd be lying if I didn't say that that feels a little bit far off. But as for the announcement, it'll definitely be pretty soon. We have some key dates coming up. Right now is a pretty bad time to make a gaming announcement. November and December are usually super busy, the time when everybody's marketing their games for the holidays, when the most consumer eyes are on the advertising. But once Christmas and the holidays actually hit, most companies end up waiting until after Lunar New Year on January 22nd to make any major announcements. With that being said though, From Software has a tendency to just shadow drop things with no rhyme or reason of prediction, which has happened before. But we also have the 1-year anniversary of Elden Ring's release on February 25th. However, I think the term days and weeks to come doesn't mean that long. But either way, your eyes should be looking out for an announcement very soon. But here's what we need to keep in mind. Since Elden Ring won Game of the Year, that guarantees something pretty big, that Elden Ring is going to be remarketed as Game of the Year Edition. And if they're making paid DLC, then they're probably going to wait until after that releases to market that game so that they can include it in the bundle. I simply cannot imagine that that won't be something that's demanded by the investors. And realistically, here's what I think is going on. If I'm being completely honest, I don't think DLC was ever planned for Elden Ring. Aside from the Colosseums, I think they left the idea as a possibility based on how much unexplored lore and cut content that we have. However, after the extreme and unexpected success of the game, they are now forced into a position where they have to make it. And so what this email says to me is that after winning Game of the Year, they are likely now scrambling to make a trailer for the DLC so that they can announce it, or at least announce that it's coming as a way of saying thank you. But either way, I'm very excited for the next few weeks. I know there's some people that have been kind of down because they don't like PvP or Armored Core. Rest assured, exactly what you want is coming. They have much more planned for Elden Ring, and although we don't have a specific date yet, all we have to do is just sit back and let them cook, follow the context clues, and await their official announcement. But that investors report is definitely going to have some details, and I will be covering that for you guys on January 2nd, so make sure you're subscribed for that. But either way though guys, that's going to pretty much do it for the video today. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, be sure to leave a like on it. Let me know down below, what do you think days and weeks to come means? Personally, I'm not exactly sure what to make of it, but with all that, subscribe if you're new around here, and I'll catch you in the next one.